everybody. You are now tuned in to StarCHaser Central, a podcast about Charles Hamilton, music moments, and everything in between. I'm Sick Braxton and no longer in a cave.
Okay. I don't know what I thought you were going to say, but I'm Mike D. Jackson.
I was telling you last week, right after I finished when I started editing the episode, I was like, oh, my echo setting was on my microphone. And it wasn't super bad, but it was one of the ones where I'm like, bro, really? But check 3 times a day, we're good to go.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to check and then recheck and then check once more. Mic check 1 2 1 2. But um, hey, we all make mistakes. Things happen. It's one of those things where I can accept and respect that you're like, hey, that was my bad, because there's people in the world that still be like, no, it's because it was this, and then we got easy things happen.
Yeah, yeah. Everything's good. But how are you doing? I know I asked you before you were in the tank top, so that means it's how hot where you are as well.
It hotter than fucking hell. It is crazy. I mean, it's officially summertime now. I think it was like Thursday when they said, "Oh, it's officially summer."
Mm.
Man, I think it's like at the point now where like 8 o'clock, 8:30, hot, already hot, and I had to do like so many errands. I got my hair cut, had to go to the dentist. Then I was like, I'm already out here, so let me go run errands. And I'm like, man, like as soon as I'm done, I'm just going home because it's too hot, you know what I mean? But other than that, I'm trying to stay cool, stay relaxed. How about yourself?
Yeah, fortunately, I'm in the office most days, but today I was home because today's my work from home day, so I was able to stay pretty cool inside, and I'm just not trying to go outside. That's all. So anytime I don't have to go, I'm not going.
I don't blame you. I was thinking I was going to be doing a lot more outside activities this week because, like I told you, I'm on vacation now, but I'm like, I don't know. I might have to wait till it gets cooler during the evening to do stuff. Cause I'm like, man, I'm gonna burn the hell up, and I'm not trying to do that. Also, I wanted to make sure that we comment on this because we've commented on a lot of things. Uh, let's not forget that this month is also Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, you know? So because I didn't talk to you about it too much, but tomorrow, Tuesday, by the time y'all see this, it'll be Wednesday, yesterday. It'll be 2 years of my brother being gone. You know what I mean? So a lot of things, a lot of emotions. One thing that really got me yesterday was my 11th grade English teacher. When I was at work on Sunday, he saw me. He's like, "Hey man, what's going on? I haven't seen him in a while." I was telling him about his car. I'm like, "Yeah, man, you're gonna need some new tires soon and all that, whatever." And I'm like, "Man, he doesn't even know. I hope he doesn't ask." He's like, "Hey, how's your brother, man?" And I'm like, "Shit, it still hurts." So, and I had explained that to him. I'm like, "I know you don't know, but 2 years later, still a
Hmm.
painful thing to talk about." But he understood, and also he's like, "Man, are you serious?" So, for anyone that is still struggling with certain topics, certain situations, it's okay to talk about them. It's okay to get help. Don't feel like, oh, you have to go one route or go the other. It's okay to be upset, feel pain, and deal with those things accordingly in the right way. So just wanted to bring that to the awareness because I know we talk about Pride Month and some other things too. So just make sure we include everybody. So
Yeah, there's room for all types of stuff to happen, not only just for this month, but going forward. I know we celebrated more on this type of month and kind of focus on a little bit more on those things, but it's important to take those things that we learn and the lessons that we learned during this month and kind of take them on, for the rest of the year and, for the rest of our lives or whatever. So like you said, if, you're struggling with something, don't be afraid to either ask for help or just, find some type of healthy, helpful way to deal with that type of stuff, man. And, just remember that you're not alone and everybody grieves differently. Just find a way that works for you that's kind of healthy and doesn't put you in a deeper, darker hole. Pause. No pause. It's Pride Month.
yeah, it's one, I was gonna say one is probably a month, but two, like for a serious conversation like that, I'm like, I don't need, if someone really does that, like especially like some New Yorker, like, oh, yo, Paul, you got Paul, like, bro, come on, man. We talking about like something serious. Yeah, but you gotta pause that. It's like, all right, bro. All right, whatever.
You know the drill, man. But we are back today, man, with a new episode. And today we are tackling a new series for us, obviously, that we haven't, listened to yet. And we're starting with the Scorpion series. This time we're listening to Feed the Scorpion.
Yes, sir. Feed the Scorpion. From my research, it looks like this came out fairly recently compared to other tapes we've done,
Mhm.
around July of 2020. So within 5 years, we don't really reach the 2020 mark that often. So here we are today with it. Like you said, this is a series. I want to say at one point when we were doing the fans' choice on Twitter a while back that I put this as one of the options and it just wasn't picked. So it was possible that we could have reached this project before, but fans picked something else that was a little bit more popular. There's also a Pet the Scorpion, and I think that one came out first before, but there was a StarCHaser that did say, hey, you guys should check this one out. So as y'all can see, we are taking requests, and if you have named something recently, it's on the list, so be on the lookout for it.
Yeah. We recently did WAF Dunk, and I think that's obviously the most recent one we've done. I think I want to say maybe Climactic may have been the other one that's kind of super recent that we've done. So, like I said, we do want to try to tackle a lot of these different eras and like the newer era. Like if you find stuff that you really like, let us know about it. We'll definitely tackle it. Um, but Scorpion, yeah, it's 8 tracks. Obviously, it's my first time listening to it. I was gonna ask you the same thing. Was this your first time listening to it as well?
That's correct. When we were kind of crafting those fan choice episodes, like I know or certain options for it, a lot of them I won't listen to. Like I think I've told you, but I'll let the cat out of the bag. When we were doing those, I'll pick something from a different era, and
Hmm.
sometimes I'm picking stuff that I'm like never even heard of it, but it has an interesting name, and
Hmm.
I hope it piques the interest of Star Chasers that haven't heard of it either. So this is my first time hearing it at all. There might have been like maybe a song or two that someone might have shared, but I don't think I've actually like heard them till recently. So like, Star Chasers, they'll be like, hey, have y'all checked out this? Have y'all checked out that? Oh, here's a song from this project. But I don't always get a chance to hear all of it because, we're trying to like listen to so much music. It's like, man, sometimes it's like I gotta take a break and like focus on this episode or focus on this or just go back to like some classic stuff I want to listen to. But first time, long story short, yeah.
Yeah. I know Charles when I had a conversation with him, probably either earlier this year or late last year. He had mentioned that the Scorpion series we should check out or whatever because he said there's some stuff there that we might like or whatever. So I'm actually excited that we're finally getting to at least one of these tapes. So like I said, 8 tracks. Let's talk about the cover. Um, what did you think about this? It's pretty on the nose for once.
Yeah, it's one of those things where this actually makes sense. It says feed the scorpion. You see a scorpion on there. It looks like the scorpion in the grass has a woman of some sorts.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure if there's like a filter on there because you could see it's a scorpion. You can see like it's about to be fed. It's about to feed itself. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, but pretty simple to me where I'm like it's simple to the point where it's not like oh it's just a scorpion on there. There's a little bit of imagery as well, so I'm like okay, it's cool. uh does what it's supposed to do, so I'm like it works for me. How about you?
Yeah, it's cool. It's very like I said, it's very on the nose, very what it should be. Um, it does seem like there's something going on with the filter, or maybe it's just like kind of darkened, or like silhouette is the word I'm looking for. Um, yeah, it's fine. I'm not like blown away by it. I'm not like if I were to if you had like a list of 10 different tapes, maybe ones that we haven't listened to, I don't know if it would have jumped out at me or whatever. I don't know if the title would have jumped out at me, but it does what it's supposed to do. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I know there's some star chasers that are like hey I could do a better art cover or I could do this and that, and then just other people that just might see some of these and be like oh this is cool but what would make it better
Hmm.
at the same time. um I don't know the correct word for it, but like for like spiders, right? There's arachnophobia and stuff like that. I
Hmm.
don't know if you want to get too in detail with like let's say like a scorpion or something like that and make it
Mhm.
too gory or make it too, too violent, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you don't want to overdo that. And then people just like, you know what, I can't look at that and I don't want to even, you don't want to scare people away with the cover either. You know what I mean? So sometimes I'm like, this is work, this works, that's fine.
Yeah. Um, let's get right to it, man. We start off with Hit Me Whenever.
All right. So how do I want to say this? I don't I don't know how to explain the beat, but I can tell you I don't like it. I don't like the beat.
Mhm.
Um, too too experimental, I guess. Like when you go on like a live with Charles, right? Charles is going live and he's making random beats. There's certain beats that you'll hear he's cooking up, and it's like, oh man, this is sounds interesting. And then there's some other ones where I'm like, he's chopping it up, and he's doing what he's doing, but it's just like for me, I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm not a fan of the beat. The bars are okay. Um, they don't really catch my attention. I think for me, it's more of the beat where I'm just like, it's not for me. And it's one of those situations where it's like, it might not even matter what he's saying because I just don't like the beat that much. So, for me, uh, unfortunate way, but kind of a skip, so when you first start off with a tape in a project you never heard of, it's like, man. So now I'm just like, might be a little damper, but yeah, I'm not really a fan of this one.
I get what you mean with the experimental sound. Um, I'm trying to figure out how I want to explain it because I feel like I don't want to, bury the lead and kind of get into my review like early on, but I'll say this. There's nothing inherently wrong with anything about this song. Like obviously everything's objective, but like I don't think the beat is like bad. Like the mix isn't bad or the mix isn't like Charles Hamilton bad. You know what I'm saying? You know, how you can do like low quality stuff. Um the bars aren't really inoffensive. They're not like they don't feel lazy. They don't feel like the freestyle isn't like flub heavy or anything like that. So there's none of that. It just feels like it's here. I don't know if there was a better choice to intro the tape. I'm trying to think back to all the songs on here, and I'm like, I guess you start with this one. You kind of start back on the back foot and be like, hopefully you can work your way up to like a more palatable like listen. But for this to start off the tape, it's like it's fine. I don't know if I'd add it to anywhere, but it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, that might be a better way of putting it. It's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't really feel anything about it. I'm just like, just I'm not in a rush to listen to it, and I don't feel like, oh, the volumes were up and down and this and that. I have some notes about some other songs where I could, kind of pinpoint that too, but it's more just like, just no, no.
And I feel like that's worse than if a song is just outright bad, right? When you just really have no you have indifference, right? And you're just like, eh. I think that's what the quote unquote bad Charles Hamilton song is if you just have no feeling about it whatsoever. The bad ones you can at least pinpoint to what was wrong, right? Like we've done some songs recently where the volume was too low, the mix was too bad, he's saying some weird stuff on there. You can pinpoint that. That goes in a column. There could be feedback for that, right? Whereas a song like this, where it's like there's nothing really wrong with the thing, but there's really nothing special about it either. And so it evokes no type of emotion for, us as a listener. And I think that's where you kind of have to fine tune the situation of what you're trying to actually do with your songs. But, let's see if he can bounce back. He tabbed R. Kelly. I meant Trey Songz with the sample with this one. About Me Too is the next record.
So this is a pretty interesting flip of him doing Trey Songz Can't Be Friends because it's rare to hear Charles do like some updated music, I guess you could say. I mean, that song is not necessarily that new, but compared to like what Charles has sampled these days, like Charles goes all the way back to decades and
Yeah.
centuries and stuff like that. Because obviously, if y'all don't know, it's easier for his stuff not to get like captured or to get found out by the YouTube algorithm or just, whatever streaming platform or that's being used. So
Yep.
for me, I'm like, oh wow, he flipped Trey Songz. I'm like, okay, cool. Um, good flow. I like the bars on there. The singing on the hook, it's cool. I'm okay with it. We've said this before when he has done this on previous songs. This is the best way I can explain it again. He's staying within the lines created by the sample. Basically, like the where the sample is, and then he does his hook. He's basically singing along with Trey, but then he's doing his own version, a la
Mm,
like 50 Cent. You know, when 50 Cent used to like jack people's beats or whatever, it's like, oh,
mm,
I'm gonna rap the words or whatever, but I'm gonna do my version and I'm gonna tweak some words here and there or whatever, but it's gonna be pretty similar. So, it's not only is it a good move because it keeps within that rhythm, also if people don't know, it makes it easier for you to learn a hook or for that song to be stuck in your head. It might end up being like more of a fan favorite than you might think and be like, oh, how do I already know this? Because all he's really doing is tweaking some words here and there. It's not, it's not rocket science. Uh, but it's one of those things like, hey, if it works, it works. Um, yeah, but I do like the song. Only thing, my nitpick that I do have is I'm not a fan of the instrument on the third verse near the end. So there's this one part where Charles, I don't know if he was like necessarily flubbing a bar or not, but like he kind of
mm,
just used it to his advantage where he kind of takes a break and it's like, damn. And then I thought it was just him going, woo, woo, like just to cover over that. But no, it's
mm.
an actual like instrument which sounds like some type of wind instrument, like some type of flute or something like that, where it's just going, it's going kind of everywhere. So my thing is like when it kind of was doing its thing, I'm like, okay, it's going to fade out eventually. No, it doesn't. It's still going.
Mhm.
And I'm like, either I think it would have been better if it would have just faded out at a certain point, or maybe just like not been used as much because it sounds like either it's out of tune or it's just in the wrong key or something like that. So part of me is like I like what he did because he's trying to like make the beat sound a little different and just switch it up a bit. But I'm like, like it was a little bit too much and just for too long. But other than that, I still like the song though.
Uh, Again, it's fine. Um, he has done that thing, like you said, where the hook over the hook. Um, he's done that before, and I think this is okay. I think the his change of words and what the original words are kind of clash at its height. So sometimes it's hard to hear what he's saying, mainly because I'm so used to what Trey says in the song. So that's kind of like a clash that I had. So I had to listen to that a few times over to really get what he's saying. The bars are cool. This tape has a common theme that I'm not sure the title of the tape kind of leads to, and I'll ask you about it later, obviously. Because this is very the theme of this tape and the subject on this tape is very similar, but I don't know where it came from, I guess is what I'm saying. The record's fine. It's fine. I don't know. Again, it's okay. It's one of the better songs on here, I guess. It's fine.
Good way. I got a good way of explaining that. So with the your one point you did make about the subject on this project versus the name.
Hmm.
I got some points about that, but we'll get to that later.
Cool. Um, Ghetto Cinderella.
So I think I had to listen to this a few times to really figure out how I felt about it or not. Because I think when I first heard it, I was like, man, I don't know. I don't
Hmm.
know, y'all. But I think overall, I think I do enjoy it. Was harsh first listen. The beat's cool. I think it's kind of like when we talk about like sound quality wise, like I think what it was is like me first listening to it, you kind of hear like the static or maybe other sound qualities that maybe like make it consider maybe not lo-fi, but just puts it in that category of like, oh man, this could sound cleaner or this could sound better. But it's one of the things where like it doesn't ruin it for me like how some songs and other projects we've talked about where I'm just like, yeah, this is like Showtime with Apollo, where like there's certain stuff where I'm like, I can't hear what he's saying. I can't listen to it. No,
Hmm.
it's not like that level. It's just like, okay, there's some static or there's some, there's some fritz, I guess you could say in here, but it's all right. Um, Verses are solid, flow's nice, looks all right. I think the sample, like the way he flipped the sample, that's what makes me really like this song. So the beat does a little bit more heavy lifting than maybe the verses do, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's like night and day. It's like you could definitely tell there's more sample work than the maybe the verses or the hook,
Mhm.
but it's by a good margin, but not by a lot. So I'll say that.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that too. I think what I like most about this is how he did the sample with the beat and how that kind of improved maybe everything else around it. I will say this is my favorite song of the first three. I really did enjoy this one more than any of the first two. Just felt a little bit more engaging, a little bit more Charles-esque, I guess. Um, Again, there's a lot of singing on the tape. I think we're just this is just where we are in the Charles Hamilton era, right? It was just there's gonna be a lot of that. So the hooks aren't always the best for me. They're just, some are memorable and but I just wish that there was some type of quality with the hooks and that they were more. I don't want to use the word dynamic again. I just wish they were more engaging, I guess. That's what I wish. But as far as the song goes, I was a fan of this one. Definitely my favorite up until this point. Um, Fifth period lunch. Um, I didn't like the beat on this one. I think that's that's me. Yeah.
Wow.
It's
I
Go
I
ahead.
I got some notes. I got some notes, but I want you to I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let
Yeah.
you finish.
I like the sample. I love the sample. I don't think I like the flip and the beat that goes with it. I think it's my issue. And it's crazy because I think I like the bars and stuff. I think that's fine. I think my issue with this is like your issue with the first song, where it's like I can't get past the beat, so it kind of muddies everything else around it or whatever. And I wanted to. I listened to this a few times. Like the first time I listened to it, I was like, this is the no. I followed that up again and I was like, maybe. And then I did it one more before this review and I was like, I don't know, man. I can't do it. It's just there's something about it I can't put my I think it's the most popular song on here too, isn't it? Let me see. It might be the most popular junk on here, which is the crazy thing.
I wouldn't be
Oh,
surprised I
yeah.
wouldn't be surprised.
It's up there. It's like it's the top three. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's a was a miss for me.
All right, so thank you for clarifying that because in my head, well, let me start with my first line of like my notes, and it goes against what you're saying. I
Yeah,
say you can't go wrong with the computer left flip. That's literally my first sentence. I'm like,
yeah.
well, you can't go wrong with it. And then you literally no. So I'm like, so in my head, I'm like, man, this might be like the unpopular opinion Stick has where it's like, yo, I just don't like that song. Like I hate that song. And in my head, I'm like, man, that's uh like a song you could definitely play at the cookout. Speaking of cookouts, hey Siri, play no. First of all, I'm an Android, so fuck Siri, fuck Apple. Did I just that blasphemy? Apple blasphemy? No. Um, so it makes sense. Okay, so you actually like the original song. So I'm like, all right, cool. That makes more sense. But there isn't, I can't fault you for being like, hey, I didn't like how this flip was done. Because even in mainstream, like we've heard people like flip that sample before, and sometimes it could come off lazy. It could come off just like not genuine enough. It could come off like, oh man, you really didn't really add anything to it. Charles definitely flipped it, and he did it Charles way, and he Hamiltonized it. I'll say that, right?
Mhm.
And for me, I'm like, okay, it's this is probably what I would expect if Charles was to flip this type of beat. So I'm like, I'm cool with it. But like you said, if it ends up being jarring to you and it ends up just leaving a bad taste in your mouth, pause, is one of those things where you're like you're not going to be able to get past that. The only
Mhm.
thing I'll disagree is I know what you're saying about how I didn't like the first song beat wise versus how you don't like this. This is computer lab. I'm not whatever he's able on that first one. I
Sure.
don't know, but I'm like, nah, that's like more in that left hand range that Charles goes into, where he goes into the not African American bag of our music. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
He goes into the Caucasian side. So
Yeah.
um nothing wrong with that though. But anyway, um I said he had the relaxed freestyle flow, and I'm like, it's here, but it works for the song. And I said the hook's all right, you know. Um One thing I was going to ask you was, do you remember what period you had lunch for when you were like in high school? I personally
Lunch.
don't. It's probably like halfway through the day, but I don't know if it's fifth period.
Yeah, I guess it really depends. It was different like every year. There did come a point though. I think it was like when I started taking college classes, maybe junior year or something. After a while, I just my lunch was I went to the community college, went and then once I was done until like 1:30 to something before I had the next class. So I just ate in between that time.
I know for me, basically, I'm not going to go into the whole thing with the college thing, but basically for me, my first 2 years of college, well, only 2 years, it was like that where like you go in between because I had like this real crazy gap where it's like I'm after like my whatever like 11 o'clock class, there's like 12, and
Hmm.
then it was like legit like I think it was my sophomore year, 3.5 hours or like 4 hours where I
Yeah.
didn't have any classes at all. So I'm like, bro. Literally, I go eat. I sit in the computer lab until like 4 o'clock. It was like
Yeah.
reckless. I'm like, bro, I have nothing to do for like 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all that's the way they try to present college is great because it's like, yeah, no, now after high school where you're kind of forced to go to class every day, now you get to choose if you want to go or not. It's like you can't tease me with a good time, my dude. Like that's like if you're telling me now what helped is that I was also an athlete. And so like especially my freshman year, they checked on you in class. They knew your schedule. So every now and again, you just see them walk by the window. And you're like, son of a bitch. So you had to be there. So it's like, whatever. But there were times, bro, I had like 6 a.m. run and I had an 8 o'clock class. And the class was the history of the blues. Bro, what? I wasn't even like musically inclined. I didn't have the Charles Hampton thing where I was like, oh, Charles could probably tell me what this is. No, I was just like, why am I here, dog? Why did y'all give me this class? It was wild, but we survived it. PDA is next. I think this is where you can get into your sound quality bag.
I can also with PDA, right? If you saw about the known public display of affection,
Hmm.
um, I'm okay. I guess I'm okay with PDA. Like the thing is, like I don't really care about it too much, but like if someone's like, if you're out at like Walmart in the middle of Walmart, just like making out and getting it on, all right, chill out, you know. But if we're at the appropriate like scene, like if we're at a bar or we're like at a club or something like that, where like that stuff happens, go for yours, you know. But you are right. I do have some interesting notes about that. So I was skeptical at first because um in the beginning of the song, it had like some peaking issues, kind of like what we talked about on the that Run DMC sample on the Bad Representation of Ugly
Hmm.
on that project. I remember hearing that. I'm like, oh man, he might have did it again. What's going on with this? But it doesn't last throughout the whole song. It's like once, like I guess he adds everything else in there. I'm like, okay, well, you don't really hear it, so not a big deal compared to like when you just keep hearing it peak up, down, peak up, down,
Hmm.
peak up throughout the whole song. I'm like, come on, man. But no, I do like the beat. The verses are okay. I think this is where I maybe have more of the issue. Like the verses are okay, but I feel like this is Charles just freestyling and free flowing, and he's just following whatever the direction the wind gives him. It's one of those things where like when you have like a certain sound or a certain song, and then you're like, all right, well, I'm gonna freestyle this, and I know I'm not really going to have any type of direction, so I'm literally just whatever words just like pop out at me or whatever, I'm going that direction. So if I take a hard left, I'm taking a hard left. If I
Hmm.
gotta do it like a U-turn, and I think that's what sounds best, I'm gonna do that. And I don't think it's necessarily like bad. I don't think it's bad. I think that the song just could have been stronger. I feel like this could have been like a it's a okay song, but I feel like it could have been better if there was like a little bit more of a direction. Like there's nothing wrong with like free roaming and whatnot, but like let's free roam into like a certain area. Let's not venture off too far. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, not a fan of the singing on the hook. So those are like more my two takeaways. Like the peaking that you kind of hear, like that's more in the beginning of the beat, and then near the end when all the instruments kind of like drop out. But okay song.
Yeah, I had that flashback of that song too. I forgot what the song was. Just that in and out thing. And you're right, it does go away once the song starts. But you know how like when you notice something and your brain kicks in and you're like, yo, you notice that thing in there? And you try to tell your brain, yo, shut the fuck up, but it's just there. You can still hear it in there. It's just the you're trying to distract yourself with the actual song too. But I still heard it and it was so bothersome. So it's one of the ones you have to play over and over until you can finally get that out your head or whatever, or focus more on the song. Um, I think I had the same critiques as you. Free free roaming, rapping as the wind blows, however we want to put it, right? I think Charles, if he's freestyling, like if he's somewhere and it's a freestyle, I think it's fine. Like when he does it on the lives, I think that's fine. I just think I wish it wasn't always on songs, like songs that you're putting on a tape that are designed to be songs and not freestyles, because that's what it feels like. They're freestyles that end up getting a hook on there. You know what I'm saying? Versus somebody doing a hook on a freestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like when one of the ones I always remember is even though he didn't really do the hook, but the Fred the Godson flex freestyle. When Fred was doing the what's called, and I guess I forgot who the dude was, but he did a hook in between every jump so he can keep going afterwards. That's fly, but it's for a freestyle, so that's what makes it fly. This is a different thing. It's like you're freestyle and free roam or whatever, and then you just throw a hook on there, and then it'd be okay if the hooks were great, but they're like I said, that's my biggest gripe right now. Is just that they're not to the level that I'm used to as far as Charles goes. So overall, it's okay. I'm again one I'm not probably not gonna go back to.
Yeah, it's one of those things where whenever Charles, because we all know by this point this is like Charles' bread and butter. That's how he makes a song.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure like he usually will write the verse, not the verse. He'll write the hook down. Like he'll do some thinking about that, and he'll kind of put that together. But when it comes to the verses, it's free off the top or whatever you want to call it, or he's writing in his head, whatever it is.
Yep.
And it's one of those things where like that can go literally anywhere, and then the hook will be about whatever that's about. But then depending on the song, some days it's like, oh man, this is all connecting, like he's connecting all the dots. And then the other days it's just like it's over here, it's over there, it's everywhere. And it's just like the biggest word we say all the time, consistency.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's like, man, he's firing on all cylinders. And then other days it's just like he's just rapping. And I think that's what happens when you're an artist of Charles' caliber, where you're like, I'm going to rap every day and make a song every day and make multiple projects every day. That's just what happens. So you're going to keep rapping, and then like I said, everything's just, not everything, but certain songs are just going to be a higher caliber, and then other ones are just going to be like it's there. So it's one of those things where consistency, focusing in, and it's just like, yeah, you know.
Yeah. We followed that up with Why I Could Never Have You. I've been on bro about the hooks, for a while. I like this hook. This one is a good hook. And it's more so from because the singing thing is still whatever, but it's more so from a writer standpoint. Um, I'm not familiar. Do you know what the sample is on this song?
I'm not sure of the actual song. I didn't look up the song, but I'm pretty sure it's Sade. So
Okay. Is the is the hook him or is it him singing the same hook in his way?
kind of like what you just said, him singing it his way. It's basically like what he just did on the Trey Songz
Hmm.
version, where it's like, okay, I'm going to, basically take whatever this person has done, and I'm going to change a few words here and there so it
Hmm.
fits my song or my narrative a little bit better. Because a lot of times it's like, all right, well, we're talking about something similar, but maybe not for Charles' situation. I know for me, what I've done when I've done something similar like that, I'm like, all right, this person could be talking about losing someone in a car crash.
Hmm.
My version of my song is like I'm talking about something similar, but maybe I'm losing more of myself, or I lost someone else, but maybe not in a car crash, maybe in a house fire or some shit like that. But
Hmm.
I try to just make it similar enough where it's like, oh, I'm not going too far left, so you could still compare them and contrast, but
Hmm.
in a good way where it's like, okay, it's similar and it still works for what you're doing with it, because when you really have to take a hard left or a hard right, you really have to make sure the dots connect. Otherwise, it's going to be like, why did you pick this song to sample?
Yeah. Um, with that being said, then shout out to Sade and Charles because I just think that the words in that hook are they're strong. It's a very good, really big imagery. You understand the emotion of what he's saying when he says it. I'm like, that's good. That's some good hook writing right there. Um, the verses are okay. They're cool. Again, I think we're still kind of what y'all. It seems a little tighter and focused because for the majority of this tape, we've been talking about like some type of woman relationship, some type of something. I don't know with who it's supposed to be, but he's talking to some woman, right? Because it's very evident in the songs or whatever. Is this the song where he starts the verses foods that start with Q, or is this a different song?
Don't
Different.
know. Don't know. I figured you would have had the notes on that one, but
You boy, I don't write no damn notes. I stopped that a while ago. I haven't
oh
had
oh
I haven't read a random paper in a while.
so you're doing the Charles method, just you don't write
No,
nothing.
no, 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 no,
No, no,
no,
no,
no,
no.
no, no, no. It's not that. I come prepared. I just don't write the notes. Um, it's. I think it's this song. I'm not sure, but it got me thinking. First, it got me thinking, what foods start with Q, and I was like, I don't think there are one. But it's a very interesting one because I didn't know quesadilla. I didn't know where. Yeah, nice job, buddy. I didn't know where he was leading me with that verse, but it got me engaged. It's something that I memorized. So it's the song it's one of my favorite songs, especially the hook part of it.
I wasn't even gonna say quesadilla. I had another one, but was it quiche? Is that with a
Quiche
Q?
is one,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the one I was singing in my head, I'm like, oh, pussy. There you go. No, hear me out, right? Hear me out. The reason why you're like, no, that starts with a P. No, pause. First of all, no, you don't. No, it doesn't. What you have to do is you take the P and then you
Uh-huh.
turn it around, and
Yeah.
then yeah. You got to turn it around. Turn around. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish. I don't know what
I'm
you.
finished. I'm done, sir. Take the floor. It's all you.
Uh, my turn. Oh man, let me get my bib. You know what I mean? Let me dig on this quiche. No, let me
On this
stop.
quiche.
And no rug quiche. No, none of that. We
Oh
don't, we
yeah.
don't, we don't, we don't do that over
Unless
here.
that's your thing.
No, 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 no. Love wins, but not over here. That love gotta go that way. Go that way. No, but with this song, really nice flip, really nice sample, like we are saying before. Verses are good, and I do believe that Charles he paints the emotion of the song, like the mood, really well. Now, here's where I differ from you for like the hook.
Mhm.
The hook for me is
Okay.
good and need some work. So the first part of him singing, it seems like Charles is trying to, for me, it sounds like he's trying to upstage or he's trying to outdo the sample instead of singing with it. I felt like with the Trey Songz sample, like when he did it on that song, like I say, he stayed in his lane. It's like I'm singing with you. I'm singing with the sample. I'm singing with you. Like we're in harmony. It
Hmm.
seemed like I don't want to say Charles is trying to be louder than the sample because you really don't have to do that. Just turn the sample down when you sample it, whatever. Still
Right.
make it loud enough so people could kind of hear what you got going on with it. But it's not like he has to like scream louder than the sample because you control you're the one making the song. You can control the sound of the song.
Hmm.
Uh but it just sounded like he was just like trying to like for a perfect example I can give you is like, let's say this would never happen, but let's say for some reason I was like singing on a song with Mariah Carey. Number one, I'm not winning that. I'm not winning that battle at all, ever. But
Uh-huh.
imagine if I tried to. I tried to outsing Mariah Carey. I'm number one, I'm getting embarrassed too. Like you just don't do that. You know what I mean? So I just felt like with him, like he was just trying to like maybe overstep, like maybe not range, but just I don't know, like the first half of it, I was like, why is he singing it like that? You know?
Mhm.
But then the second part of it, you know, he gets kind of like he calms it back down or whatever and kind of chills out. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But like I mean, maybe like I said, him just trying to be overpowering the sample. I'm like, you don't need to do that. The sample is there to work with you. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's kind of like I look at it like training wheels. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, it helps you ride the beat better. It helps you, you know, makes everything smoother, whatever. Like that's like putting the training wheels on and then trying to ride backwards. Like, all right, you're not now at this point, it's like, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
Um Overall with the song, it's a good song though. I do like it. The one point you did make uh, with whoever he's talking about, this has to be about somebody. There's some type of love interest, I'm assuming, because like I said, a lot of these songs, even when you don't look at the name of the songs, it's like almost every song has to do with a female interest. So
Mhm.
or some type of love interest. This is like I don't know if I would call this a love project or some of these love songs though. You know, Charles does a lot of love songs or songs where a woman is the main interest or the main reason the song comes together. But I don't
Mhm.
know if if I would label this a love project. You know,
Yeah, it's tough to say because again, not a lot of context. Like, who is the scorpion? What does the scorpion represent? If we're taking the title, we're feeding the scorpion. What are we feeding the scorpion? So, like, there are a lot of missing elements, probably from the story. Excuse me, or missing. Um, I don't know if there's supposed to be an order we're supposed to listen these in. I think you said
Pet the Scorpion came out earlier.
so. Maybe we're missing like a piece of the story. I don't know. So, like, I don't want to say this a love project, but I'm also not saying that that we're not missing something from by going quote unquote out of order. So I don't know. We followed that up with Utopian Ethiopian.
That's a bar right there. I don't know. I don't know if that. I'm not going to comment on that. So it's a bar. I'll say that. Beats okay. Another thing with the sound, I'm not sure. This is more maybe I'll say like this is more of a personal thing. I don't know why the kicks are that loud. Like I won't say the kicks are peaking, but I guess if we were to explain it in a simple way, like they're it's in that range of like peaking. And
Hmm.
my thing is I was like, I don't think he needed to make them that loud. I don't think this is a song where you have to have like the hard hitting kicks and this and like because when you hear everything else, I'm like this could have had some simple kicks. You know, it didn't have to. It's like you know, there's certain genres of rap where it's just like, oh man, you have to have it like busting out your eardrums, and it's like I'm like when
Yeah.
I hear this, I kept listening to this. I'm like, I don't think that the kicks needed to be like that. At the same time, though, I know Charles uses a different type of kicks. He has his own, you know, stuff that he uses. Maybe when he's using other people's, that's one thing too for people that don't make beats. It's depending on what type of equipment you use and whoever's kicks and stuff and snares and everything else you're using,
Hmm.
if it's of a certain quality, it's going to sound like that when you're creating music. So like if you were using like let's say if I was using like Dr. Dre's like his synths, his snares, his kicks and all that, but then like I ended up using like a really like poor $50 like hand me down, I don't know, like a some type of instrument in there.
Hmm.
Everything else, oh, this sounds like a Dr. Dre beat. Then you're going to hear like a you're going to hear that, and they're like, "Fuck is that?" You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And that's just how it is. It's like if you're using stuff of like different quality or different realms or people that do their sounds differently, it's going to come out in the music, you know. And this might have been like Charles is like that might have been his sound that he was preferring for this, but I'm like I don't think that the kicks needed to be like that loud or that you know that boost baited that boosted up, you know what I mean? So um back to the song. Uh, Charles basically saying that he's done it all in life because he names, oh, I've done this before, I've done that before, but I still want you. And that's just one of those things where we come back to the who's this tape about? What's this tape about? Because it's
Mhm.
like that's one of them situations where to me it sounds like when you're in a situation with someone and they're just like, oh, well, you don't want me because insert reason here. And then you're like, well, listen, I've done this, I've done that, I've done everything you could think of, but that doesn't stop the way I feel about you. And
Yeah.
I want you. Like, yeah, I've been at my highest highs, I've been at my lowest lows, but right now in my life, this is where I want to be at. And some people might take that as a diss, and I'm like, no, because depending on like where you, that's more of a self-reflection thing too. Because I'm, oh well, you've done this, so you couldn't be with someone like me. It's like no, because that's not all it's cracked up to be. And
Mhm.
then versus, oh well, you've been down there before, so you're basically saying no, I didn't say that about you at all. I'm just saying that out of everything I've done in my life, this is where I want to be, and this is who I want to be with. Because you complete me. Words will start with a Q. But yeah, overall, the hook has some catchy vibes, and verses are okay. So yeah,
I like this record. Um, to me, I like the way I described the beat. I like the distorted, maybe warp sound that it kind of has. I don't know how the original sample kind of sounds, but it sounds like you put some type of effect or filter on there. This beat sounds like how the cover looks, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I was really engaged with the beat. The verses are okay. He's doing like the A to B. At one point, there's like a big pause in between certain like bars or whatever, and let the beat some space for the beat or whatever. So that's kind of odd, but it felt like a thinking process as he's rapping or whatever. But you with Charles's style right now, that's kind of what comes with that. And I think honestly, this is a back to back good hook record. I do like what he's saying on the hook right there. Um, it's singing but has more of like a up tempo type of thing to it, and it's not overly singing. So I was very pleased with that as well. Yeah, this is another standoutish track for the tape for me. Don't know if some of these songs are playlist worthy, but from this listen, I'm not mad at it.
I see what you're talking about right there. Yeah, I get you. I get you.
We finished the tape up with it's called "To Bite on You." Charlie.
I'm pretty sure Charles has sampled that before. If y'all know, you'll know. If you don't, too young, whatever.
Yeah, we're too
Uh,
old, bro.
yeah, fuck that shit, man. I'm young forever. No, no, I'm not. No, because I'm not going to be Jim Jones. I'm not going to be fucking 48 doing whatever the fuck he's doing. Oh, I can out rap Nas. No, you can't. No, the fuck you can't. No, stop it.
Confidence is through the roof.
Yeah, I mean, I can't knock him for it, but let me quote Charles for that one. Stop it. Stop it. But anyway, so with this song, a calm and chill beat to end the tape. Charles follows along with a similar flow. It's calm and it's chill. Sounds kind of like a poetry type of flowing that he's doing. Like it's one of those weird things. Like we talk about the A to B, A to B, but like for certain songs, I'm like he is probably still freestyling, but it seems more like a if it doesn't seem like it's really hitting on all the points of like, oh, I ended with this end rhyme and now I'm going to end with this end rhyme. It's like, more of the free flowing poetry of like, hey, it's supposed to evoke emotion. It's supposed to, set the mood and set that tone. So it feels more like that. And I'm like, I'm cool with that because he doesn't normally do it all the time. It's one of those things where I think he has a good idea of like, this is when I can do the poetry flow versus I'm gonna do the A to B rhyme. Hook's okay overall. I'll say very different from the start because like how we felt about the first song. I'm like, man, I don't know how else you could start the tape off because eventually you have to get to that song. But versus this,
Hmm.
I'm like, this is a good way to end the tape. I'm cool with this. I think this is like the best song to end the tape with. So.
Yeah, this stretch is solid. I like the way that this tape ends. This is a decent record. I like this hook a lot too. So, you know, three straight good hooks. There's there's some positivity I take from that. I think again there's some hope there that he's still able to make hooks that are good, even when he's still doing maybe the singing that isn't as palatable to me as it is some other Star Chasers. Um, yeah, I thought he did pretty decent with the verses. Again, we're getting with those as far as like free roaming or whatever, how we want to describe it. Yeah, I just another kind of lovey indie track. Like now, very. I assume they're love nibbles is what when he says he's gonna bite on her heel and her foot. That's you know nice, nice ones. Not like the vampire stuff that he might be doing and some other shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's a cool record to end the tape with, man. It's cool.
Hey man, everyone has their preferences. I'll say that. Some people like it hot, some people like it cold. That's where I'll leave it at.
Yeah. Some people are yes and they're no. In and out. Up and then down.
Funny,
Um,
funny.
anything before we review the tape, man?
I think I got all my points across for the most part. So, if you're ready, I'm ready.
You know the drill then, man. We just listened to Feed the Scorpion in 2025, 5 years after its release. So let us know what you are going to do as far as review, any pros and cons, and the character rating you are giving it today, Mike.
So I will be honest. I mean, I'm always honest, but that's the way you have to start it off.
Hmm.
Um, when I first listened to this tape, the first listen, I remember being like, "Yo, who requested this? Hey, yo, who requested it?" I was like, "Man,"
Uh,
but I was like, you know what, gotta give it another listen because at first I was like, yeah, I don't know about this one.
mhm.
Well, I wouldn't say I was going to give it Robotnik. Definitely not saying that. But I just remember being like, man, I don't know how I really feel about this one. But after some listens, I'm like, wait a minute, because like I feel like for me, this tape started off like kind of rough in the beginning, and then
Sure.
like it kind of like smooth itself out near the end. I'm like, all right. So maybe I'm gonna calm down a little bit. So listen to it again. I'm like, oh, you know what? It's okay, okay. I see it is different. Of course, it is 2020 era of Charles. Charles doing what Charles does. So
Hmm.
you have to take that with a grain of salt. And that's one of those things where like if you're not used to that, you got to get used to it. So,
Yeah.
but for me, I think that overall, not sure, like I said, what really this series is about. Like if it really is about one person, if it's about multiple people, if Charles is the scorpion, if he is feeding the scorpion, and just maybe one of those type of things. Cause like, one of the songs is like Why I Can't Have You. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where I don't know if any of y'all have had a pet scorpion. There's some people that like are into that type of stuff, but I'm pretty sure it can be dangerous. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, you can feed your scorpion, you can pet your scorpion, you could, do whatever you want. But sometimes they're gonna hit back or just they're gonna pinch you. You know what I mean? So tread with caution. Overall, though, I think with this project, it has some highs, it has some lows.
Hmm.
Like you said, it has some ups and downs. So my thing is kind of reminds me of someone you know pretty well, your buddy Knuckles. So I know you hang out with him from time to time near the commentary table. So I'm gonna give this tape a Knuckles. It has had some bumpy situations, but it kind of glides through, So give it a Knuckles, man.
We haven't had a Booker T Knuckles joke in a while, so um, I'm glad that's back. Um, I think you nailed it in that if you if we only did one listen to this tape, I don't think it was gonna end well. I think it was gonna be much lower. Fortunately for us and the podcast and for what we do for the listeners is that we kind of do like multiple listens throughout the week. We give ourselves a week to listen to the tape. May not seem long enough, but if I think we do enough research and enough listens where what we say is really what we mean at by the time we get back here on recording days. Um, the first listen, I said this is just okay at best, right? Actually, I said I had the indifference. That's what I said. I was like, I mean, I listened to it and there's nothing again inherently bad except for maybe some sound quality issues or whatever. And the hooks that I don't like, but the hook thing is me. So I was like, it's here. I don't know if it's a spectacular tape or a tape you really need to go find at the time. But over time, listening to it throughout the week, kind of getting some more listens in before we got here, I was like, there's some good stuff. I really like the ending 3 song stretch. I think that kind of really bumped it up a grade for me as far as how I want to rate it. I'm also giving it Knuckles just to get that out the way because I do think that one, I think this is a tape that if we listen to the rest of the series, it could be one of those things where it's like, this is probably better with either context or just me comparing it to the other ones. Like, this is clearly the standout, but I don't know where the other ones are going to land. Um, so I would say it's a Knuckles because there's some it's consistent in that it's nothing wrong with it, but inconsistent in spectacular moments. Like there's nothing really there. Like you said, the bars are there, but there's nothing really we're like grasping at except for like a couple things. The beats are fine. It's an okay tape. I would say go find it at your leisure and then just make your own decision at that time. I'm not gonna tell you to go rush to it. But yeah, Knuckles is a solid review considering how we may have looked at it when we first listened.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things where I know we can sound harsh or, we just want to make sure that we have the integrity that we want to provide to everyone because we don't want to say, oh, everything's great or everything sucks. It's like,
Mhm.
no, there's a merit to what we say, and we try to keep it real with y'all. And I know, like you said, sometimes, oh, a week might not sound like it's enough, but I think it is because at a certain point, yeah, maybe we don't always have the context, but at the same time, neither do y'all. Don't act like you do. And neither do y'all. Y'all don't be talking to Charles on the phone. Like we actually talk to him, so we get a little bit more insight on certain projects. Sometimes we don't, but
Yeah,
um, like you said, we don't just listen to these ones. We're not doing one and dones. Like we
yeah,
listen to these multiple times, and I've mentioned it a lot of times. I listen to it just like in earbuds and headphones, just with the phone on, just in my car. So we give it multiple listens to really solidify how we feel about these tapes. And
mhm,
after a certain point, like there's some tapes we might listen to a lot more than others,
mhm,
but at a certain point, like how many times can you listen to it until you realize you're like, no, it's this or it's that.
yeah,
So that's where I land with it.
yeah. I personally, I know for me, I've listened to some tapes during this show where I've definitely gotten higher on it from when I initially listened. So there are opportunities for that, and sometimes tapes just grow on you eventually. Um, but then there are tapes like this where it's like it did after the first listen, but there are just times where it's like this is the cap. There's no breaking through that ceiling. Like you know what I'm saying. Sometimes you're not a Roman Reigns. You're a insert wrestler here. 'Cause I don't want to shoot nobody down. But like you can't. Everybody can't be the top of the top, bro. That's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? And you can't just come from out of the retirement and just get a world title shot unless your name is Bill Goldberg.
Man, I don't want to talk about that guy. I hope Gunther puts him in his place in the retirement home, and I hope Bret Hart's the special referee.
Oh man. Also, you unlocked a memory. I just forgot to mention when you talking about people having pet scorpions. As soon as you said something about having pet scorpions or just scorpions in general, I don't know why I didn't click before this. Remember Kablam and Sniz and Fondue?
Oh man, I remember Kablam, but you just saying the names now. I remember that now because usually most people go to Action League Now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Uh-huh.
Everyone talks about Action League Now,
Yep.
or was it Prometheus and Bob?
Yep.
Because that was
Hmm.
just weird.
Yeah. But Sniz and Fondue had the scorpion. I think that was like maybe the first episode of when Kablam came on. That was the first Sniz and Fondue that came out. And I was like, damn, I forgot all about that. And now I have to go watch that later this week at some point. So thanks for that.
No problem. I think I had to send you a clip of I think Sniz and Fondue because there's like I think there's an episode where there was something with like a watch or a clock or something like that, and like the whole
Oh,
episode
it's like the fake. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I just remember because someone was like, it was like someone, there's like, I don't know if it was like a little sister or someone like, yo, Mr. Dude, you got the time? I remember just saying, yo, Mr. Dude. I used to do that to people. They're like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, oh my God, you don't watch Kablam, never mind.
Oh man. Yeah. You actually pretty suspended from sending me cartoon clips actually because of the last one you sent me and kind of ruined everything for me.
I can't even remember what I sent you. We won't talk about it.
Bopping that boppo.
Oh, listen, that's not my fault. That's not my blame Rugrats. Blame them.
Rugrat, yeah. Nah, Rugrats has some crazy shit in it. If you go back and look, some wild shit. That's another podcast for another day. Anyway, to keep in touch with Charles, not Chucky, Finster, be sure to follow us. No, wait, no. Wait, what? What am I about to say?
I see what you're trying to do, but
You
like
saw it, right? Yeah, you saw
I
it.
knew what you were trying to do, but you start with us first, and then we save the best for last. Charles Hamilton. So
Correct. Yeah. Anyway, with us, you can follow us on StarCHaser Central. You can also follow us on Twitter, StarCH Central. You can follow us on our individual pages. I'm at Stick Around 54, STIK Around 54 on Twitter and Instagram. Mike, where can they find you, buddy?
this is a perfect reason why you should have notes and not freestyle. Just saying, just saying, just saying. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, Stick, not
We have
Charles.
we have done
I'm
this
talking
way too many times. I just fuck up all the time. It's fine.
to you. Oh, all the times.
Yeah.
Just nope, 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 nope. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna go. So y'all good.
Hey, hey, hey. No, hey, one take.
Okay.
One take.
Yo, and I fucked up. And I'm keeping it. One.
And I
So
hope you heard me close the booth just now.
all right, all right.
I love
All right,
Charles,
I'm
man.
done. I'm done. I'm done. All right. So y'all can follow me on Instagram at the Mike Jackson, THE Mike Jackson. On Twitter, Mike D Jackson. That's Mike D Jackson, one D, two E's. Holla at me. Make sure you guys follow Charles on Twitter at Charles Hamilton. Um, Make sure that you are subscribed to him on his YouTube at the talented Mr. Hamilton. If you guys haven't noticed, he has been going live a lot more recently, working on the project TBS, the Bipolar Sunshine, I believe.
Hmm. Yep.
So if you haven't gotten tuned with those, make sure you're checking them out because whenever Charles does go live, even if you miss him going live, he keeps them archived so you can watch them at any time. So it's not like oh, I missed it, it's gone. It's still there. So check it out if you've missed a lot of those. There's some interesting stuff there.
Hmm.
And also make sure that you are checking out the blog. I know like every now and again he blogs, it's sporadic, but then sometimes it's automatic freestyle bars. Make sure you check him out on the blog. And then he has multiple blogs, but I'm going to just talk about the main one because then you can find the other ones from there. Enter the hamilton.blogspot.com. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's links on Internet Hamilton to his other blogs. And if you're paying attention to him on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you follow him at, he usually kind of tells you the other blogs as well from time to time. Um, but let us know what you want us to listen to next. Yeah, I mean, y'all know the drill, man. We're into listening to whatever. A lot of projects we still haven't touched yet. Not a series we still haven't touched yet. Still got to complete some. So if you got something that you want us to listen to really badly, let us know, man. Just know, Mike is keeping a tally of who said what, and so if it's something that we don't like, we will be following you and following up. Yeah, yeah, we're not gonna do anything. I'm making stuff up. Anyway, Mike, you have anything for the people we head up?
Just the usual. One thing I do remember someone I think on the Discord, they brought it back up where they're like, hey, will you guys or ever thought about doing like instrumental tapes for like reviews? And I'm like, I know we talked about not doing that before, and I think we're still on that same boat of like, nah, because that's I don't know if there's enough for us to talk about for like an hour. You know what I mean? Because like at least what we're like, oh well, there's the bars and this and that, but if there's just instrumental, it's like but we will say at any time if we ever change our stance on something, you guys will know. We'll hear here first. So, but the usual. Thank you guys for checking out another episode. We appreciate you, and until next time.
I think we can do that actually. The goal will be we'll do an instrumental tape and you will drop a 8 bar freestyler for each one. And we will kind of, we'll determine, especially from your perspective, how do you feel about this beat? Was it easy to glide to? Was it something that, you had a little issues getting catching the pocket? And we'll rate it like that. I think that's a great idea for the fans. If you want that to happen, dial 999 9999. That's 999 9999. What do you think, Mike?
That idea is getting Robotnik for me. Nah, it's not for me. Nah. Now, I'm not saying the Charles beats are not for me. I'm saying the idea that you came up with. You just freestyled off your head. Stop freestyling, man. Obviously,
guys.
that's why I'm glad you don't rap and you stick to your lane because that yeah man
Oh,
that
you're right. I don't rap. White broccoli raps. We are logging out of the StarCHaser Central podcast, man, where we always encourage you to follow your dreams.
and reach for the stars.